Hello, my name is Catherine Smith, and I'm the Chief Flight Instructor and Faculty Professor at Bowling Green State University. I'm also an FAA Designated Pilot Examiner. So today I am here to share my career in aviation with you and talk to you a little bit about how STEM can help you pursue a career in aviation and support that goal. So my job kind of marries up my two favorite things. It marries up aviation with education. And the reason I love doing what I do is because I'm able to share my passion and help others succeed in becoming professional pilots. So some of the things that have sparked interest in my career. I wanted to become a military aviator because that's kind of what my dad pursued a role in the military, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. But at the young age of 3, I started to get this interest in aviation. Though no one in my family is an aviator, and I don't have any aviation role models in my friends and family, so I'm not really sure how it happened. But that's kind of how I got interested in my career. So as I started to look at what skills I would need to be able to do this, a STEM background is really important. You have to have analytical skills. You have to have the ability to study and really take in a lot of technical content and decipher it and then bring it to life and apply it out there in the aircraft. So in my career, I have flown single engine aircraft, multi-engine aircraft, flown at daytime, nighttime, in the clouds, in all kinds of different weather conditions, in situations where there have been mechanical malfunctions on the aircraft or human emergencies on the aircraft, medical illnesses, all kinds of different demands. So as a pilot, I think that your training as you come up through your elementary years, your middle school years, and your high school years, that training, those skills and technical knowledge start to set the stage for how you will become a good problem solver. So the training of a 4-year degree. So as I graduated from high school, I was already taking classes at the university as a high school student and getting underway with my aviation career. When I started my 4-year degree at the institution, I earned my private pilot certificate so I could learn to fly single engine aircraft in daytime or nighttime conditions, but in nice weather. So then the next certificate I earned was how to fly in the clouds. So when the weather got, poor out there and visibility was reduced and the clouds were low, I was able to look inside to the instrumentation and fly that aircraft with just the instruments in front of me. The next certificate that I had to build my skills and learn was my commercial pilot certificate. And this allowed me to start to earn a living as a pilot, so to fly for hire. So I could fly in a single engine airplane for hire, and then I got my multi-engine commercial certificate, allowing me to pilot an aircraft for hire with more than one engine. Ultimately, these skill sets set me up for a career in aviation. But when I got done with that, I didn't stop there. I decided that I wanted to share my passion and teach others. So I went out and got a flight instructor certificate for single engine to teach in those visual conditions in single engine aircraft, and then an instrument instructor rating so I could teach in the clouds, and then ultimately the multi-engine instructor rating so I could teach in aircraft that have more than one engine. My experiences here really developed my problem-solving skills. And this set me up for the career that I had. I flew corporate, so I was able to work with customers, fly different kinds of jets and turboprop aircraft, faster aircraft in almost all different parts of the country. And then I was able to do some cargo, which I did over nighttime flying, which was an interesting experience as well. I learned how to then move into the airline world, and as an airline pilot, I flew a 4-engine jet. This is an example of it. And I have been a flight instructor and an FAA designated pilot examiner, so I can give tests so that a pilot can earn their certificate. So my career has been really amazing, and I think all of it stems from two things: aviation and a passion to share that with others. So when I look at advice for young women about pursuing a career in STEM, I would say make sure that you build good study habits so that you can take in a lot of technical content, get the relevant pieces of it, and then be able to apply it to whatever problem lies ahead of you. That actually is the one fun fact about my career. I think no 2 days are ever the same. And I am a problem solver in my job. My family says I'm not a chief flight instructor, I'm a chief problem solver, and I couldn't agree more. So that's my fun fact about my career. My office is, 10,000 feet in the air, and I solve problems all the time. Love it. And that is one of the greatest challenges and pieces of my job that I love the most, because no 2 days are ever the same. So advice that I would give a young woman about pursuing a career in STEM. I think that it's really important for you to not allow anyone to set you back in the pursuance of your goals. So what is that goal that you want to achieve? What is it going to take to get there? But be willing to look at all the challenges along the way as just opportunities for how you can succeed. So where you see a roadblock, you've got to just kind of recalibrate, reset, and find that solution, find that way forward. Do not give up on your goals. Never stop pursuing your goal. And your goal may change and adapt as you go on, but don't ever stop pursuing that goal. What do I love about STEM? As I said, it is problem solving. And this applies across all of the STEM careers you're hearing these videos about, whether it's aviation or biology or chemistry or whatever STEM field you're talking about, learning more information about, it is problem solving. So how do you take the book knowledge and turn it into applied? How do you bring it to life? How do you really problem solve the challenge that sits in front of you? And that is aviation each day. So we have technical concepts in aerodynamics and how airflow affects the airfoil and the wings, and how engine performance affects climb performance, and how that relates to our operation in a terrain sensitive area like Colorado versus Bowling Green, Ohio, and how the weather patterns at the upper atmosphere start to affect our aircraft's capability to perform, and how we as a human being are subject to human factors and aeromedical things like hypoxia at high altitude. All of this technical content comes together, and it is all STEM related, and it leads to us making STEM-oriented decisions and problem solving. So it is very much a STEM field. What advice would I give to my 18-year-old self? I would say believe in yourself. Never let anyone else define your worth, ever. Never let anyone else define your worth. Just believe in who you are. And it's not going to be easy all the time, but you've got to keep yourself situated on your goal. Find that role model who's willing to be that person you lean on in times of need and that celebrates you with you when you get to those achievements. But believe in yourself and never let anyone else define your worth. If I was going to do a different career, what would my backup plan be? Well, I don't look at it as a backup plan. I look at it as another opportunity. I often say, I hope I make it to 100 years old so that I have the opportunity to try everything that I have excitement for. I would love to be a neurosurgeon, a neonatologist. So there's your medical field. I would love to be working in the FAA with compliance officers and regulation and how that applies to what a pilot has to do in the real world. I would love to be a French horn player in a symphony orchestra or an interior decorator. But in all honesty, in aviation, there are so many ways to go. Even if you don't want to be the pilot role, or you find that you can't be that role, there are so many things you could do. You can be airport logistics, airline operation. You can be a manager, a leader. You can be an educator within aviation. You could teach in simulators. There are so many things you could do in aviation. Safety oriented, human factors research, fantastic solutions out there. And they all exist within all of our STEM fields if we just look a little bit wider and widen our perspective. But I don't think it's a backup plan. I think it's plans that still have to be explored in my life. What informal education or science education is important? I honestly think things like the Imagination Station and COSI and Franklin Institute and um, informal programs that you might get online, or courses you might be able to take, or even workshops you could do, are fantastic ways of taking foundational knowledge, even if it's just one experiment in aerodynamics or fluid dynamics or whatever the situation is. It could seem quite simple. You know, when you walk in the museum and you put the penny in that round and round funnel and you watch it and you think about centrifugal force and gravity and things like that. Those foundational tidbits are really what start that problem solving, critical thinking mindset for STEM initiatives. So soak it in and learn how that technical content actually is applicable to your STEM discipline. If I think about my favorite quote in my favorite book, I cannot wait to share this with you. My favorite book is by Janine Shepherd, and it is a memoir called Defiant. Janine is an amazing, inspirational individual, and I was lucky enough to meet her several years ago at a Women in Aviation conference, and she continued to inspire me to think the words "I can't" do not belong in my world. There's no challenge that we cannot overcome. We just need to be creative in our problem solving, and we have to keep our mind and our body engaged in where could we go next. And that our body is not a limiting factor. Our mind shouldn't be a limiting factor. We can do anything we set our sights on. So please read the book, it's amazing. And my absolute favorite quote is by Jane Goodall. You cannot go through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. I share with you this quote. It is one that I love, I live by it, and I share this with folks often. Every single day you wake up, you have an opportunity to make a difference, and I'm making a difference in education, in the lives of my students, in the lives of my coworkers, in the life of a stranger around me, my friends, my family. So think to yourself, what kind of difference do you want to make? Aviation, passion for education, love of those around us, respect for humankind, make a positive impact on the world around you. What an amazing opportunity that is for all of us. And finally, one piece of advice I would give to a young girl, you can do anything you dream of. And if it's aviation, I'm here to support you. You can do it. You don't have to be this genius individual to make a difference in that field, whether it's aviation or whatever STEM field you're going into. You just have to have a passion and set that sight on that dream out there. And where there are obstacles, you turn them into opportunity. You find the solution and problem solve through it. And you find that role model that can support you. And don't ever give up. Just keep pushing forward and you will succeed. Thank you all for your time, and I wish you the best of luck in your STEM fields. And I encourage you to look into aviation, and take care.